Hello everyone, my name is Favor and I'm going to be your graphic design instructor here at Digital Empowerment Academy. So I'm excited to be part of this creative journey as we explore the world of visual communication together. So today we'll be looking at introduction to graphic design and visual communication. First of all, what is graphic design? Graphic design is the practice of using visual elements such as typography, imagery, color, and layout to communicate ideas, convey messages, or solve problems. You understand? So, graphic design is the art of using visual element to pass a certain message to your viewers. So, this is just like a shorter version on what graphic design means. So know the difference. There's a difference between graphics design is not the right way to call it. Graphics design is not the right way to call it. The right way to call it is graphic design, because when you refer to the term graphics, the term graphics refers to like the end product of what was created, like the flyers, the logos, the animation, those other things, they are called graphics. But graphic is like graphic designer is like the person who made those graphics. You understand? So what are the core concepts of graphic design? The core concept of graphic design is not just make it look good. It's more about effective communication. So as a designer, your motive when creating a design is to pass the message you want to pass across effectively. You understand? Because every design must have a purpose, which is to inform, to persuade, to entertain, or to instruct. So I'll be giving you some examples of the use of graphic design in our day-to-day life, which includes billboard, logos, in posters, in social media graphics that we see online, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, and the various social media platforms. On magazine layouts, see those nice, well-structured design they use for those type of events. Graphic design can be seen in product packaging, like Coca-Cola bottle. Graphic design can also be seen on user interfaces on websites and apps. You understand? So that is another aspect of graphic design. Is like more of like a more deeper aspect. So me myself, I specialize on social media graphics. So actually communicating a brand information or a brand idea to their online viewers or their online community. That is the aspect I majorly specialize on. So that is just one of the ways graphic designs can be used. So let's look at the roles of a graphic designer. Graphic designer can actually take on a variety of roles depending on the industry and project. Most of their common responsibility include visual problem solver. Number one, please take notes. A graphic designer must understand the communication challenge and create visual solution to solve that issue. I repeat, a graphic designer should understand the communication challenge and create visuals to solve that issue. A graphic designer can also have like a brand strategies in by developing and maintaining brand identities, which includes logos, colors, typeface, that which is fonts, which is another name for font family. Actually, typeface is what they call a group of fonts. So font is different from typeface. Font is like a single text style, while typeface is the a group of styles, a group of fonts with different styles. You understand? So that is just how it is. So a graphic designer can also be a layout designer by arranging text and visuals effectively for readability and aesthetic uh, appeal. So this case can apply in those movie posters. I don't know if you've seen some movie designs, like movie poster designs, where they don't just use too much effect and stuff. They just did it plain. You see the subject at the middle of the screen, then you just see the title of the movie at the left with a a well-colored background. So that's kind of like a well-structured and arranged visuals actually communicates what that movie stand for, and kind of like gives an aesthetic appeal to the viewers. You understand? So graphic designer can also be a digital content creator by creating design graphics for social media, websites, and apps. You understand? So additionally, a graphic designer can be a collaborator by working with clients to solve their problem, marketers, developers, and basically other creatives. And lastly, a graphic designer can be a strategist by understanding a target audiences and using this design to guide a user behavior. For example, now in this brand or in this company, you actually notice that they don't have much leads. You understand? So it's one thing to have engagement on your post, and it's one thing to have leads. You understand? Which actually drives sale. So your role as a designer is to convert that engagement to leads, so that they themselves, the brand, will be able to sell their product effectively to their target customers. You understand? So that is actually the role of a graphic designer as a strategist. You understand? So there are different fields and specialization within graphic design, and some of them includes number one, branding and identity design. This one is kind of like a large scale something, because you create logos, brand guideline, corporate stationery. Like example is um Nike swoosh, or Apple minimalistic identity. Like you see the way Apple, the whole team of Apple is kind of like minimalism. They don't do too much. You see it on their commercials, you see it on their designs and all. That is just actually the specialization, the specialty of a graphic designer in their branding. You understand? So um number two specialization can be advertising and marketing design, by creating posters, banners, billboard, email campaigns, strong focus on persuasion, conversion, like I said earlier, in a graphic designer being a strategist. You understand? Why number three, user interface slash user experience, which is UI UX design, like in the designing of websites, apps, and software interface. This actually focuses on usability, accessibility, and interaction. So another specialization for a graphic designer is packaging design, which includes creating visual and structural design of a product packaging. Like I said earlier, I gave examples like the wrap in a Coca-Cola or those beverage bottles, or the packaging they use in packaging those milk, those powdered milk. You understand? Those other eye-catchy graphics you normally see that actually compares you, that drives you to purchase a particular product. Mm. So another specialization of a graphic designer is in motion graphics and animation. In motion graphics and animation. Yeah. So an example of this is animated visuals for video, TV, web, web and TV, web and presentations. So another one is another use of motion graphic and animation can be used in intros, adverts, explainer videos, and etc. I don't know if you've seen some of these ads on YouTube where you just see a kind of like smooth moving text. Like I'll try and see if I can get a perfect video which basically shows a good description of this, or animation. Yeah. So the next specialization of a graphic design is in infographic and digital visualization. This basically translating data into understandable visual stories. Yeah. So I'll list them again. These are various places or various specialization within graphic design. So you just for you to develop yourself in one of these areas, then you market yourself and you start earning from that from the skill. You start number one, brand branding and identity design by creating brand guidelines and the rest. Number two, it can be in the advertising and marketing industry. Number three, it can be in UI UX. So I'm just repeating what I just said earlier. It can be in the user interface or user experience design, a designer. You can be a publication designer by creating book covers, magazine design, newspapers, ebooks, and the rest. Number five, it can be a packaging designer by break by creating product packaging visuals for brands who needs them. Number six, you can be a motion graphics and an animator. You understand, for creating those kind of like illustrations and those. I think I actually have someone that's actually specialized on that aspect. Um, Number seven, you can be an environmental and experimental designer by creating signage, exhibition displays, event graphics. You understand, and those other stuff. All right. So this is just some of the specialization within graphic design. So next up, what is visual communication? Visual communication is the process of conveying information and ideas using imagery, symbols, topography, and other visual elements. And graphic design is one of its powerful tools. You understand? So the definition between visual communication and that of graphic design is almost similar, but visual communication has many tools, but graphic designer happens to be one of its most powerful tools. So visual communication might include those adverts, those video adverts. Yeah, they are trying to build anticipation for a certain product or those other stuff. You understand? So graphic design is actually part of a tool used in a visual communication.